Hello and welcome to the Inside the U live postgame show. The Miami Hurricanes improved to 17-7 overall, 9-4 in the ACC with a 79-70 win over Georgia Tech. And we will have Jim Larranaga on shortly with the Zoom call. Just want to make sure we have that set up. Here in a second, there's a lot to get to with this game. I think there was a lot of positives. Definitely as well. Give me 1 second as we set this up here. Again, just waiting on the Zoom in case you guys are new to this. Jim Larranaga will be in here shortly. Hopefully we get some players. I'm curious who will get a chance to talk to. But again, Miami erases a 14-point deficit in the first half. They battled back there at the first half. They get within 2 points at halftime. And then they go back and forth throughout the second half. I thought Bensley Joseph, I will get into him a lot more later, but I thought what Bensley Joseph did was very important because Charlie Moore was down with foul trouble. Cameron McGusty dealt with it too in the first half, and he had a big second half too. But I thought what Bensley Joseph did, he hit a couple free throws. He was able to provide a little bit of offense, not a big time score or anything like that, but just to kind of stabilize. He was kind of solid in his role. Handling the ball, running the offense, and I thought he was good in the second half. Just a good performance by him to step up. And again, I want to switch over to the stats here so you could see it. But Bensley played 28 minutes. I've got to believe that's a season high, or certainly a high in the ACC. We've not seen him play that much. Charlie Moore was down, and then he comes back, with those 4 fouls that he was dealing with. He comes back, he hits that 3 at the top of the key, he gets a layup right afterwards on the next possession. I thought that was a key sequence as well. But Bensley's free throws put Miami ahead for the first time in a really long time. I think it made it 57-56. And then Miami just kind of got a couple free throws here and there. Isaiah Wong, Cameron McGusty continued to stretch it out. And when McGusty, a guy that sat the last 7 minutes of the first half with foul trouble, goes 0 for 4, scoreless in the first half, comes out in the second half, and we have seen him do this. We have seen these guys do this. But Cam comes back, 17 points in the second half. Really aggressive. I liked it. He did it early too. Early in the second half, he hit that 3, made a shot just to get it going. You can't get a big scoring night all at once. And I just thought he did a good job staying within it. The 5 of 17 shooting is not great, obviously, but he did a good job of providing points when this team needed it, and certainly they did. Miami's led in scoring by Sam Wardenberg, 19 points, solid both halves. A guy that definitely needed to step up in the front court. With Jordan Miller out with an injury, he's listed as day-to-day. I definitely am curious to see what Jim Larranaga has to say about Miller's injury. Miller was at the game. Anthony Walker steps in his place, earns a start, scores 12 points. Anthony Walker's had an up-and-down season. Not a lot of positive performances, but tonight was certainly one of them. Shout out to Anthony's 21st birthday, so good for him. He had a dunk early. I thought that did a good job of getting him going. Had the 8 rebounds. So overall, a good performance by him. And just looking at the updated standings here, it's not updated quite yet with Miami's game, but a couple notable scores from around the ACC. Notre Dame goes ahead and gets their win, and then Wake Forest, who Miami plays next on Saturday, they also win. They win big tonight by 18 points. Wake Forest is a really interesting team. Those standings are updated where Notre Dame goes to 10-3, Wake Forest 10-4, but Miami is actually 9-4. So they're staying pace at the top. It's a very crowded group, and you saw what Virginia's been able to do. They beat Miami, but they're getting wins, so they're kind of joining that top group. And I think it's going to be very interesting with those 6 teams, because I don't see Syracuse or Florida State jumping into that top 4, but those 6 teams currently, as it goes down to this 20-game stretch, this 20-game schedule, as they fight for that double bye in the ACC tournament, which is really big. Top 4 teams get that double bye, and Miami keeps pace. I thought it was good. I thought Georgia Tech did a good job tonight, got that 14-point lead, but Miami battled back. We've seen that throughout the year. I think we've got Jim Larranaga here. We're still waiting for Coach Larranaga, but we are in the Zoom. It should be starting at any moment here. Definitely drop in the comments. Let me know what you think about this game. What were the positives you liked about it? And what were some things also that you guys are a little concerned with, or something needs to be worked on as Miami's trying to stay in that top 4 there? Kind of flipping back here to the stats. 5 guys in double figures. Again, Jordan Miller did not play. I thought that was good. Not a big performance from the bench. Dane Gack only a couple minutes, and Wugo Poplar struggled there in his time. But Miami was going with their 6 guys. Bensley Joseph got the minutes as soon as Charlie Moore dealt with foul trouble. That was kind of the 6 man that they were going with. So Bensley stepped up off the bench again, just the 1 for 5 shooting. But you see there the 6 rebounds, the 4 assists. That's what they need. They need that kind of production. They need the bench to provide some positive output. And you see Joseph was also a +8, so certainly a good performance when he was in the game. That's what I touched on earlier without mentioning that plus minus. But I thought that was good because I thought he helped Miami stay in it as opposed to, okay, Moore goes to the bench. What are they going to do? Can Bensley keep up and can the team get going? And they were able to do it. I thought that was good. Again, Anthony Walker stepped up, a guy that's been on the bench all year, makes his first start, and then Bensley Joseph with his contributions. And even Sam Wardenberg, not one of these top scorers, not one of the top 3 scorers on the team. He steps up and has a big game tonight, and I thought that was good. I just think this is a positive. You can win all sorts of different ways. It was good Miami bounced back tonight after 2 losses in a row. And I wasn't surprised that they played well. Georgia Tech's been struggling this year. Dropped to 3-9 in the ACC, 10-13 overall. But Miami, hearing Sam Wardenberg talk and Cam McGusty leading into the game, they were still really confident in this team. And they should be. A couple losses happen. It's just part of it. But they've got a lot of positives still going for themselves. And certainly trying to get into the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2018 is the clear goal at this point. And they're right in the mix. They're certainly in the mix, and they'll definitely need to keep getting wins moving forward here. But again, 9-4 in the ACC. It's where you want to be at this point. And again, I keep talking about top 4, but Miami's just 1 game behind Notre Dame for first place there. And I think you saw Notre Dame, just the difficulties that they can present a team with things that they're doing well. And I think Wake Forest has that as well. It's going to be very interesting, a very exciting game on Saturday. Miami and Wake Forest there. They played in a game on January 1st. Miami won 92-84. We got Zoom calls here. Starting with Anthony Walker. Yeah, Anthony, I was just curious if you could summarize what this was like for you personally. You get the start, the performance, you get it in a win. It has to have been a tough season for you at times throughout the year. So just to have this kind of performance, I'm curious what it was like for you. About how many people were here to see you tonight? Yeah, Anthony, I was just kind of speaking on everybody. If you could talk about the performance, Sam gave you guys the 19 points, and then also Bensley Joseph, a guy off the bench that came in for Charlie there. Your thoughts on those two guys, and essentially, like yourself, guys stepping up.
The spark was amazing from both those guys.
Go back to Wyatt.
Yeah, Anthony, 5 different guys in double figure scoring today. How much does this kind of win prepare you all to go up to North Carolina, face a Wake Forest team that's certainly capable of scoring high numbers as it did last time at the Watsco Center?
Yeah, our motivation for most of our games is just to share the ball. Every game is just to share the ball. So the fact that we had 10 players in double figures, the fact that we got in the paint, got to the free throw line, we didn't do that as much last game, is just good. So we're just going to continue sharing the ball, continue knocking out our open shots, continue finding our open players, and hopefully we can continue winning.
Anything else for Anthony? All right, Ant, thanks for your time.
Thank you all.
So I do want to apologize for the technical difficulties on the audio. I'm glad you guys said something. We were able to get that fixed. And again, Jim Larranaga has not come to the podium, just Anthony Walker here. So we'll definitely get him. So again, I apologize on that. Just to kind of summarize real quick before Coach comes up, but just Anthony talked about, he's really exciting. He said he had 12 to 15 people here to see him. That's obviously great. He wanted to have a good game. He didn't know he was going to start. So he was able to do that. He was definitely excited about that. He said it's a once in a lifetime opportunity today. So he was excited. When I asked him about Wardenberg and Bensley, just guys stepping up, he said, Sam's a vet, this is what he does. And I kind of looked at Sam's line, 19, 8, and 5, just really impressive performance by Sam. And I'll get to him after we wrap this up. As far as other things that he said, just really happy with the energy that the team brought in the second half. He was asked about that, and people congratulated him. Happy birthday. So just kind of recap how that went. I apologize once again. But again, anytime something's happened, definitely let me know. I'll get it corrected as soon as possible. I always like knowing if there's mistakes, and certainly it looks like we got that back. So yes, it is his birthday. He turned 21 today. So that's a good thing. Shout out to everybody that's in here for that. As we wait for, again, Coach Larranaga, we might get another player. Typically we get 2 players after a home game. So hopefully we get that in there. And I definitely don't want to miss it. I'm going to flip to the stats real quick. But again, another, Miami was 4 for 17 in threes last game, 5 for 22 in this one. A couple off games from 3. They've been shooting the ball well there. McGusty 1 for 8. The 5 is 17. I touched on that, but I just really like his aggressiveness. Gets to the free throw line. Shots aren't falling. Get to the free throw line. Stay aggressive. They still need his scoring, even if it's not as efficient as he would like it. So he did a good job of that, particularly there in the second half. And from the free throw line, this team, 20 of 26, doing good there. Another going back to Wardenberg, he makes all 6 of his attempts, so that was a good sign there as well. Also, if you guys have questions to Coach Larranaga or the next player we get, definitely drop those in. Maybe I can get it in. Maybe it's sometimes it's a topic I'm not even thinking about, so it's always good to get your guys' thought there. Again, just waiting for Coach. Yeah, I think we should be good to go. Another thing I was thinking about too, the 12 turnovers, partly again, it's not a huge number. Miami had been so good at, here's Coach.
Coach, can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we've got you. All right, we've got head coach Jim Larranaga here after becoming the 14th person in history to win 100 ACC regular season games. Coach will start with an opening statement, and then we'll go into questions.
Well, I thought Georgia Tech came in with a great mindset, played very hard, played very well early. They kept us off balance, disrupting our offense. We fell behind by 14, but we made some adjustments offensively and ended up cutting the lead to 2 at half. That was very important. And then in the second half, we were really able to get to the foul line and cash in at the free throw line.
Or if you have questions for Coach L, please use the hand raise function. We will start with Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald.
Hey, Coach, I have two. One is just how important was this win to get back in the winning column and not let it stretch to a third loss. And also I want to ask you about Sam, the game that he had tonight.
First of all, to me, Michelle, winning is hugely important. You like to win.
Mm-hmm.
And our guys, battled very hard. And people think if you lose, you played badly. Well, you might do something not as good as you normally do, like miss shots, which is what happened at Virginia. But tonight, we bounced back. We did a good job. I was very concerned playing a game without Jordan Miller, who's really a key cog in our offense and defensive schemes. But we had some guys step up and play well. Anthony Walker did a great job of subbing in for Jordan, and then Bensley Joseph, Wooga Poplar came in and helped us. Sam Wardenberg was terrific from start to finish, defending, rebounding, blocking a shot, and then making his shots. He scored 19 points. I don't know if that's a career high or not, but it's close.
Yeah, just under his career high against Carolina. Go to Chris Stock from InsideTheU now.
Coach, again, with those guys stepping up, how big was that? Cam and Charlie dealing with foul trouble at times. You touched on the bench earlier in the week. Just these other guys stepping up, how important that is. And then also the resilience you guys are showing. You're down 14 at one point. We've seen this from your team. How big is that you guys can, bounce back from deficits?
Well, first of all, we were very concerned about Georgia Tech's bench because in their last game, their bench scored 37. And even at halftime, I can't remember what it was exactly, but it was like 12-2. Their bench outscored ours. And what that allows a coach to do is rest his starters and give them quality rest so they can come in and play at 100% later in the game. By our guys, Cam Auguste getting in foul trouble in the first half, Charlie Moore getting in foul trouble in the second half, we absolutely needed Wooga and Bensley to step in there and give us quality minutes, and they did. And they did it in a variety of ways, mostly at the defensive end of the floor. And that was critical because, in the last, I think 5 of the last 8 games, Georgia Tech had made 10 threes or more. And today they I think were very much on their way to 10 threes at halftime. So those guys coming in and doing a good job defensively was critical.
Go to Luke Chaney from the Miami Hurricane.
Hey, Coach. Congrats on your 100th ACC win. So I noticed that Isaiah Wong and Cam Auguste received some playing time tonight before. Can you talk a little bit about your lineup experimentation from tonight's game?
I wasn't experimenting. We didn't have Jordan Miller. We had Anthony Walker, who needed some rest. We needed someone to play that position. And it worked out fine because those guys have actually done that in practice and in other games. Cam Auguste played the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4 tonight.
Go back to Michelle.
Jim, I wanted to ask you about Jordan's injury. Is it serious? Is it mild? What happened to him and when?
I think every injury is serious until you're well. I don't know how long he'll be out. I think it's on a day-to-day basis. Hey, something I mentioned the other day that I would like to follow up. I think it's a fascinating story. No one probably wrote about it, but my wife and I were on campus on Sunday. I was drinking a smoothie, and we met 2 law school students, one from UCLA, one from American University, and we invited them to the game. One of my thoughts has always been you recruit fans as well as you recruit your student athletes. We want our students to have a blast coming to the games. And I thought we had another great student crowd tonight. That crowd included 4 law school students who recruited 2 of their friends to come and cheer on the Miami Hurricanes. They sat in the second half with my wife, and I brought them into the locker room afterwards to let them know how much we appreciate their support. And I hope they'll come back again and again.
Did they have fun?
They loved it. And one of the young ladies said, my heart was beating. I was so nervous at the end.
Back to Chris Stock.
Coach, if you could touch on Cam McGusty, the foul trouble, but just the second half that he had, 17 after the break, for him to do that, and what was your message to him?
What ended up happening when Charlie went out of the game, we put Cam at the point. We rotated he and Isaiah so that they had the ball in their hands and were the decision makers. And in actuality, I thought Cam's passing in the second half was critical. He found Isaiah, I think, for that 3 that he got fouled on. Cam ended up with only 2 assists, but he probably could have had a half a dozen assists if we made a few more shots. But he played a terrific floor game. He hit a couple of mid-range shots when the game was in the balance, and then he made most of his free throws. He was, 6 for 8 from the foul line.
Chris, did you have another for Coach Al?
Yeah, Coach. I was just curious if you could get your thoughts on Wake Forest. They're 9-2 since the last time you played them. What you've seen from them and the challenge that you'll face there on Saturday.
Right now, I think they may be the best team in the ACC. They have Alondis Williams, who's leading the league in scoring and in assist. If he finishes the season that way, he'll be the only player in conference history to do that. So they got one great player quarterbacking their team. The other guys play really hard and really well. They've got tremendous size. Walton and LaRavia up front, and then Mucius, and then Williamson. They've got a very well-balanced team. Not only could they win the ACC, they have a shot at winning a national championship, I think.
All right, Coach. Thanks for your time. We'll have Isaiah Wong in shortly.
Not surprising to hear Coach speak so highly of Wake Forest. If you haven't seen them, they're good. They didn't look good against Miami.
100 ACC wins.
We'll come right back to Isaiah Wong when he's available. Show you the updated standings here. Yes, and it shows Miami at 9-4. So this is updated here. Just really crowded at the top. Wake Forest again 20-5 overall. Miami will play there on Saturday, so it'll be a big game for sure. Another good guard Coach touched on Alondis Williams there. So they're good. They're well-rounded. They were able to get some inside points. It was a 92-84 game when Miami played them on January 1st. Obviously able to get things going there. But Wake Forest, like I mentioned to Coach, 9-2 since then. And Coach said obviously they've got a chance to win it all. So a good team there for sure. I remember Steve Forbes, Wake Forest coach, was really confident on his team during a teleconference. It says he knows what a good team looks like, and he did feel like he's got a good team this year. So even though they weren't picked to have one of these big years, they're obviously a good team. So, but tonight, Miami 79-70. There's a couple things that Coach said. I thought it was good in a game like this to bounce back from a couple losses.
You got it, Zay?
Yep.
All right, great. If you have questions for Isaiah Wong, please use the hand raise function. We'll start off with Luke Cheney from the Miami Hurricane.
Hey, Isaiah, congrats on the win. So you received some playing time at the 4 tonight. Was that a little weird for you, or is it normal for you to play that?
It's a little adjustment, but I think I feel comfortable in any position. I want to play any position I can because I'm a type of dude that, like, I feel like I'm a big man sometimes. So I feel like when that happens, I be feeling good, even better about myself because he think I can play the 4 or the 5. Because, and I love when I guard the bigs too. But at the end of the day, it's just an adjustment and just coming off the horns action. It was just some good movement, and coach called a good play.
Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald.
Isaiah, can you talk about Anthony Walker and how he played tonight? You know, on his birthday, he had a start, and just what contribution he made today.
Anthony, he's a great player. He always when he been improving every year. So this year he been just playing hard, just trying to play in the system, and he's playing very well right now. He's getting rebounds, he's shooting the ball with confidence, and he's taking people in the post, and he's just playing his game right now. I'm love seeing it.
We'll open up for a couple questions from Michelle's students in the sports reporting class. First, we'll go to Kevin Greer.
Isaiah, congrats on the win. Last time out against Virginia, you guys were unable to get to the free throw line at all, but tonight you guys scored 20 from the line. How important do you think that was in the win?
It's very important with the style we play. We like to attack the basket, and we like to get the foul calls, and we're a good free throw shooting team. So coming in when we played Virginia, we didn't get no calls, so it was a struggle. We didn't get no free throws, and we was missing shots, so it was a struggle going into that game.
Go to Chris Damon from Michelle's class.
Hey, Isaiah. I just wanted to ask you about the student section's presence at tonight's game. At the end of the game, Charlie Moore gave them the shout out, and I saw Anthony Walker celebrating with them after the game. So how important was that presence?
The fans, like last year, we didn't have fans, and it was just it wasn't like a lot of energy going around. But this season, all the fans are coming in, and they just supporting us the way that we coming in. So, like, we're having a good season right now, and the fans are important to us, and they're like one factor of us winning games too. So with them and with us, we're just keep on rolling, and we just keep on going through every game by game in the ACC, and fans are helping us.
Wyatt Kopelman from WVU.
Isaiah, congratulations on the win. Speaking on spirits, second half, you guys go on that big 11-0 run. You guys have that diverse scoring attack. How impressed were you with your team's ability to have so much energy as you all regrouped earlier in the week with that focus?
Just coming in with this game, we showed energy in the practice today. We was dunking the ball. We was hyped in practice, so we brought the energy out. But like in the first half, we struggled a little bit, but we came back and started playing good, and we started like bringing the energy, and that helped us win the game.
Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. Michelle. All right, we'll go to Chris Stock for InsideTheU.
Isaiah, you touched on Anthony Walker. Just to have his performance, Sam stepped up, obviously, in scoring. You know, Bensley off the bench, especially when Cam and Charlie dealing with foul trouble. Just how big is that for your team, maybe moving forward down the stretch, to have contributions from these guys?
It's a big factor. Just sometimes one player go down because he got foul trouble or he gets injured, but we need everybody to come up and step up every game. Like what Ann and Sam did, they helped us throughout the game, and they make some big plays and made some big threes throughout the game. Like some players were struggling shooting threes, and Sam helped us, and Ant was getting rebounds in the offensive end, and they was both helping us. So it was just both of them are just great pieces to the team, and they know their roles, and they're doing it to the best of their abilities.
We got time for two more. We'll go to Wyatt and then back to Chris.
Isaiah, given the fact that getting stops late down the stretch of games in the ACC is so important, how impressed were you with your team's ability to put together some stops as the shots started falling late?
Just with the team, we've been lacking some for the last two games with defense, but today we came in defensive wise. We came in very good, and we turned it up a notch, and we had a lot of players trying to play defense, and we got some stops in the second half, and we just played to our best of our abilities this game, and we had some good stops, and we converted in the other end. So just coming into games, we got to focus more on defense, and offense will handle itself.
All right, last question of the night. We'll go back to Chris Stock for Isaiah.
Isaiah, you guys were down 14 in the first half. We've seen your team do this. You're down, but you erase deficits. What enables you guys to do this? How are you guys able to kind of bounce back through that? And then also, if you could just touch on Wake Forest up next. They've been playing real well.
With that 14-point lead, it was just we wasn't hitting shots, but we all know, like, coming into the game, we got a lot of shooters, so we would just sometimes we just struggle a little. So when we just keep on, throughout the game, we're going to hit some shots. So I feel like when we made that comeback, we was getting stopped and hitting more shots and getting more easy looks and just helping. It was just chopping down the lead little by little, and we got the lead, and we kept the lead, and we won the game with the stops and what we had. And with Wake Forest, they're a good team. They have one of the top players in ACC, and they're on the little winning streak. So we got a tough game going over there because Wake Forest, they play best at home, and it's going to be a good game over there. We got to stick to what we do. So it's going to be a good game.
All right, Zay, thanks for your time. Everyone else, thank you as well. Have a good night.
So that wraps it up there. Again, Anthony Walker spoke, and then Coach Larranaga, and then Isaiah Wong there. I apologize again for the audio for Anthony Walker. You know, one of the things that I was able to talk to Evan about, if you guys haven't seen that interview yet, Miyakawa, he has an analytics website, and he talked about these 10-0 runs, where Miami ranks and how well they do there. And I thought that was interesting, and I think that's what we saw tonight. Once again, they're just Miami's able to put together some runs. They're never out of games, and I think that's always big. And look, it's about having confidence. You know, teams always want to be confident, but the fact that you're able to put results onto your confidence, and this is what we've seen from this team. This isn't just a one game thing. This team has bounced back from deficits throughout the year, and I think, you know, whenever they're down, regardless of how it looks, and it didn't look good at one point for sure, they're able to bounce back. It was 32-18 there in the first half. They're able to close within 36-34 at halftime, and then able to stay with it in the second half. Bounce through some, you know, they talked about the injury to Jordan Miller, and Coach did address it. It definitely feels questionable for Saturday. So we will see. One thing I would have asked, I'm not sure exactly when the injury happened. I don't think he addressed it there, but he did play the game before. So that was one thing. So we will see if he'll be ready there on Saturday. But again, guys dealt with foul trouble, dealt with 14-point deficit. This was a good win, because sometimes, you know, this is how games go. And even though Georgia Tech have been struggling, not good in the ACC, but Miami was able to go ahead and get the win and pull ahead there late. And I thought that was good. I thought it was good. Charlie Moore, even though he was sitting on the bench, he comes in the game from foul trouble, knocks down a three, the layup. You saw the little skirmish. Thought it was interesting that Cam McGusty got the double technical foul with Michael DeVoe. If you saw the article that I wrote today on InsideTheU.com with McGusty and DeVoe, this was the fifth battle. McGusty talked a lot about going against DeVoe and how tough that is as one of the top scorers in the ACC. And both guys, even though DeVoe had 20, you know, it was just one of those battles. And again, McGusty likes that competitive edge, and I think Miami's doing a good job of staying competitive with other teams, you know, throughout the game. You know, sometimes in years past, we've seen this team get down. We've not seen them battle back, and we've seen this team do that. And I think that's a great sign. I remember the Florida State game. Miami was down big. They ended up losing the game, but I did feel like there was just some positive stuff that came from it. College basketball is such a long season. It's not like college football where one or two losses really hurt your season. In college basketball, there's a lot. You're building your resume as a team, not just for the tournament resume, but just there's a lot of things that you can learn from throughout a season. And I think definitely that game has helped them, even though they did lose. I think it's helping them in a game like this. When they're down, they're able to battle back and get back in it and get the win, pull ahead, and essentially a 23-point turnaround, being down 14 there in the first half. So really good performance from Miami tonight. Even though they faced some adversity, they showed some resiliency. And I want to talk about Sam Wardenberg, but definitely drop in the comments if you have some comments, some things you'd like me to address, if you have any questions. But I want to talk about Sam Wardenberg tonight. Again, 19 points. He did it on 5 of 8 shooting, 3 of 4 from 3. He was hitting those threes. He took them early, and then he hit those 2 threes while Miami was down 14. I thought that was good. They needed somebody, and he makes all 6 of his free throws. So Sam did a really good job of keeping this team into it. But I didn't realize it, but just that 8 rebounds, that 5 assists was really big. I thought that was good. And I think there was an assist. I did think it got changed because I thought they gave Anthony Walker an assist on that shot by Cam, that 18-footer where he froze, and then that Sam got fouled on the play. Sam actually swung it. I think the statisticians did go ahead and fix that assist, but I did notice that it was incorrect at the time. But anyways, just Sam does a good job passing the ball. 38 minutes, a plus 15 when he was in the game. I just think, a guy like Sam, this is when you need players like this, and we've seen this from him. He doesn't have to score 19 every night, but in a game like tonight, when Jordan Miller's out with an injury, when McGusty and Moore are dealing with foul trouble, they're two of their top scorers, they need a guy like Sam. They need Sam to step up, and he did. And I thought that was great. I think the big thing with Sam, and just hearing him talk this week to the media, asking him questions, and I will have something on Sam leading into the Wake Forest game. I was able to ask him about his defense, the keys for him defensively, because he's not the biggest guy, and some of these guys he faces, which he'll face against Wake Forest, they've got a couple big guys, but how he defends, so I'm going to put that in there. But one of the things that stood out to me was Sam, and it's been going on throughout the year, just the confidence that he's playing with, the confidence he has, not only in his team, but himself. He's definitely grown. He's definitely matured as a guy that's been in the program for quite a few years. In year 6, I remember when he came kind of mid-year that first year, but just he's definitely one of the, even though he's a veteran guy, he's still one of the younger guys in terms of his age, considering he's been in the program for that long. But anyways, I just think his confidence is showing on the court. Everything's kind of going in line with him as he's growing, maturing, and his play is really impressive. I thought there were a couple plays too where he did a really good job where he had shots. You always talk about this, especially in the NBA, about, pass on a good shot for a great shot. And he definitely did that. Not all of the shots resulted in buckets, but there were times where Sam stepped up, had a 3, or stepped up, took a shot inside, or showed a shot, then dished it out there to the outside and gave it to someone else. I thought that was good. So I thought he was doing a good job there. That stood out to me. Again, Georgia Tech runs this tricky defense at times because they flip through them quite a bit. With what they show, they definitely want to trap there. There were some times Miami was getting stuck on the traps there on baseline. I know they talked about it with Isaiah Wong got stuck on a trap there. Just when you get baseline, if you know they're trapping corners, you just got to take that 1-2 foot step inside, a little closer to the wing, even just one step, just so you have a little bit more before you get the ball, unless you're going to shoot that true baseline 3. Just step up there a little bit so you don't get trapped. But other than that, I thought Miami did a pretty good job kind of dealing with Georgia Tech's defense. The shots weren't falling, like Isaiah said, 5 of 22 from 3. But, the team still shot 48%. I want to go to the split box here, kind of show you some things that how these two teams compared. Things that stood out, the bench points, coach talked about that, but 22-4 in Georgia Tech's favor. But again, Miami was going short bench because Jordan Miller was out, so Walker's elevated. I did see a question I want to address with Jeff, just, with Rodney Miller and Dane Gack. And Rodney's not played much lately. And Dane Gack, even though he's elevated into that ace spot in the rotation, he only plays 2 minutes. So Wake Forest goes, maybe we can bring that up here. I'll just probably wait, but you know what? No, we'll wait a second. But, just that Wake Forest game, they've got bigs. I think Dane could play more, but what you might see, though, is they could just play small and try to take advantage of Wake on the offensive end. make Wake Forest, do things on their offensive end with their big guys, but just kind of stay small, kind of stay true to who you are. And I think that's what I would expect, because again, Wake Forest has size, but that's not where their strengths are. They still have Williams, and you talked about Jake. Those are their top two scorers, so they can get points inside, but that's not their strength. So I think Miami will still kind of play the way they like to play. So we'll see how that goes. So Chris is here. Shout out to Chris. Dennis, always appreciate you as well. But Chris is here. Yeah, just the bad turnovers. Yeah, that's tough for a team like Miami, especially when 3-point shots aren't falling. You don't want to rack up these turnovers that you can make up for them in threes. And Miami, the reason why they've been so good, and it's a team that's not great on defense by any means. They're just they try to be solid. They rely on offensive efficiency, either shooting the ball well and keeping turnovers down. So when the turnovers start going up, it can make it harder for yourself to win games, kind of getting away from your identity. I think the turnovers thing is something to monitor moving forward, because Miami had done such a good job of staying under 10, game in and game out, which was a lot different than last year. And so now that it's kind of climbing up a little bit, just something to watch for moving forward. The Virginia game, there was turnovers, so just something to watch for if it's a trend, if it's starting to get away from what they like to do best. So Jeff, yeah, the rebounds, yeah, it's interesting. It's one of the things with Brooks. Yeah, they lose that center, but Miami's going small. They're just playing a different style and kind of going with it there. And Brooks was the guy that didn't score much offensively, but Sam's the center playing that 5 spot. Question was asked by reporters tonight. Noticed that Miami was going small, and I did notice that too. So sometimes what I saw was Joseph and Poplar off the bench were both inserted. Sam was staying out there, and then maybe the other 2 guards and Wong and McGusty's sliding down. So there was definitely some adjustments there. But when you're basically only going 6 guys, Poplar gets the 11 minutes off the bench. But just a short bench, you're going to have some rotations and some things that don't look necessarily great at times on the court. You're just kind of making do during those times. I think the key too for Miami and the rotations is either Isaiah Wong or Cam McGusty need to be on the court, at least one of them, and for the most part that is still happening. So I think that's certainly a key. One thing that'll be interesting to watch for against Wake Forest, I keep bringing that game up because it's a big one. 20-5 Wake Forest. They're certainly getting close to that top 25 ranking. They win tonight. Again, we can look at the standings. You see Wake Forest wins 69-51 over NC State, and then also Notre Dame goes ahead and gets their win as well. The FSU Pitt game is going on now. FSU has some work to do to get back into that top group as they're sliding down into the middle pack there. But Wake Forest goes to 10-4 in the conference. But one thing to watch for, just thinking ahead about that game, is again how they'll defend, but also how they're going to handle some things with Alondas Williams, because he's so good at scoring and with the passing. As Coach mentioned, a chance to go down in history as the only ACC player to lead the conference in both. So we will see if that happens. Kind of reminds me of a different style of player, but remember when Trae Young led the country in that? You just don't see players leading that in their particular conference, scoring and assists. So it's impressive that he's doing that. And I didn't think he played very well against Miami the first game. I thought he had been playing well, had one of those off games against Miami. Certainly they'll be looking to do that. I want to go back to something Isaiah said that stood out. He talked about running that horns offense, and Coach Larranaga and his staff do a really good job of trying to get their guys in positive situations. They know what they have. And Isaiah's very good on ball screens. They run a lot of ball screen stuff to kind of force teams to switch, get some mismatches there. That's what they're looking forward to doing. They will pass it around the perimeter. They're not a true pick and roll type team where they're playing that 1-5 or 2-5 type pick and roll where you're going to throw it down to the big guy if they, on matchups in the post. That's just not that they can't do that. That's just not where Miami's is great at with their ball screens. They like to free up their guards into some positive mismatches there. Or if some guy provides help, they're going to kick it out for 3, an open shot, hopefully. So that's kind of how Miami's doing there. One of the things that stood out to me Coach mentioned Wake Forest again. Their balance, that's not what Miami has. That'll be an interesting matchup. I touched on that too. So I'm kind of repeating myself. I'm going to go ahead and wind this down. Once again, you can watch it back. Apologize on the Walker audio. I did recap it. If you watch it back, I kind of recap what he had to say. Talked for a few minutes. Definitely excited. Very good performance for him. He's a guy that's had a tough year at times, just not as productive. And it was a guy that had a large role last year. So this has probably been a difficult year for him on a personal level as he's trying to find his role. And this was just a positive game for him. So he did good. He played well. He stepped up. That's what Miami needs when they face adversity. Got to have players step up. So definitely thank everybody for watching. Coach Larranaga talked as well. And then Isaiah Wong to watch it back. So I want to thank everybody and have a good rest of the night. Plenty more content coming on the channel. We're getting really close to 15,000, so I'm excited for that.